basket, jump hook, rebound baskets, and he does a good job of getting to the free throw line.
And we are underway with Arkansas State in their home white on offense to start the contest.
There'll be a lot of ball screens and a lot of movement away from the ball, and they're going to try and get that young man shots very quickly.
Devin Carter has it stung by Munnings to start the game.
A lot of ball screens and drive here. They like to play inside out. They're not an outstanding offensive team. They've been very inconsistent.
Marvin Jean-Pierre, the junior guard out of Pompano Beach, Florida, by Miami-Dade College, averaging 9 a game. With the first bucket, it's a three-pointer for the Warhawks.
Warhawks are going to guard you, Matt. I mean, they're going to put pressure on you. They're going to fight you.
Dante Thomas gets the roll. Dante Thomas, the senior guard out of Washington, D.C., by way of San Jacinto College, and averaging 8.2 a game.
They really have an open post where they can do a lot of dribble driving. That's really an important part of their offense.
Alabacus working against Simmons, pardon me, and Alabacus left it short, but standing on the baseline, out of bounds, Dante Thomas. Keith Richard, the head coach of the Warhawks, in his 7th season. The last 2 seasons, they had gone 44 and 28 before dropping to 8 and 23 this season.
Lost so many close games. They haven't been able to win those, in part because they really don't have a go-to guy.
Marcus Washington on the drive, and Marcus Washington, the senior guard out of Clinton, Mississippi, by way of Holmes Junior College, and averaging 8 a game, gets his first bucket, and the Warhawks lead by 3.
And his best offensive move is to the basket, scoring on the short drive off the dribble.
Rashad Lindsay, three-point attempt, high off the glass, and Washington brings it across for ULM. Nick Capola drops it off for Alabacus. Ball loose. Run-out opportunity for the Red Wolves. To the corner, and C.J. Foster. Rebound by Washington.
Red Wolves have been a little bit of a funk, and they need to get out of it today, or their season will be over.
Inside they go. Shot blocked by Foster, but Foster committed the foul on Munnings.
See, that's the whole offense was over on the right side of the floor. Munnings was over on the left side, flashed, and it was one-on-one. There wasn't anybody for the Red Wolves to help double him, and he's good down in there.
Grant McCaslin, the head coach of the Red Wolves in his first season after working with Scott Drew at Baylor. The key to their success this year, and as we mentioned off the top, just the 20th win season in the 6-year, or in only the 6th 20th win season out of 89 years. He said the real key was getting the senior guards to buy into the program.
You know, that's always a challenge for a new coach coming in, and it clearly would have been a unique situation for him to ask kids to do what he wants them to do, but they've been good at it.
Simmons off the mark, and Alabacus with the rebound. Red Wolves have started out slowly here today. They were 9-2 in the conference. Looked like they were going to, if not win the conference championship, at least be a top 4 seed, but they lost 5 of their last 7 conference games down the stretch. Eight on the shot clock. And inside Washington, that's a traveling call, and time now to check in with the third member of our team, Kristen Bedard.
Well, guys, Arkansas State basketball has had a motto all season long of serve, believe, compete, or SBC. But Coach told me before the start of this one that SBC has a twofold meaning now that postseason play has begun. He hopes that SBC will stand for Sunbelt champions. Matt?
Well, they're hoping for that. Jemiah Simmons was called for the foul right there. Arkansas State joined the Sunbelt Conference in 1991. But this is the 89th season of basketball, dating back to 1926.
Red Wolves will set a lot of screens and ask Carter to come off of him. And if he can get open, you better look out.
Alabacus with the spin move in the bucket. Alabacus, 6'11" freshman center out of Perth, Australia, averaging just 3 points per game.
And see, he's still in the process of developing as a player, and that's one of the things they didn't have was an inside threat. And boy, right now, he doesn't look too bad.
Devin Sims, hands on the ball on the dribble, checked in during the last timeout. Rebound underneath, and the offensive glass in put in by Thomas Bruce, junior forward out of Arkansas and Logan College, averaging 7.5 points per game.
He did a great job of just fighting after it. I thought they might call him for over the back, but he just was very assertive and aggressive. Warhawks will be patient now. They're a quick shooting team.
Jean Pierre the miss. Offensive rebound by Washington. Washington again drains the three-pointer. Second basket for Marcus Washington. And an early 7-point lead for the Warhawks.
Energy. They're the ones ball. Their defense has kind of stifled the Red Wolves right now, and they're moving the ball and getting the ball to the open man. But as I said early in our last game, ULM is the best ugly team in America.
Well, they've had a difficult season. 8 of their 16 conference losses have been by 5 points or in overtime.
In 2 of them, they had the lead with 5 seconds to go.
Another turnover, Arkansas State, as the Warhawks come away with the loose ball. They did not win any games decided by 5 points or less in conference play. They went 0-8 in all of those games. And, you know, Coach Richard, as Alabacus drops it in, Coach Richard said, look, we just want to keep it close the entire day, get to that final timeout in the ballgame, have a chance to win, and hope that maybe once this season a close game will go our way.
You know what? Part of it, he said, is because I don't have a go-to guy about it. And the other thing is, if you're not a good shooting team, you put yourself in a real bind. You just got to guard. And a lot of times teams ultimately are able to adjust just enough to get over the hump.
Dante Thomas is fouled on the play. So Thomas will go to the foul line. First foul shots of the day. 61.5% free throw shooter for Dante Thomas in Arkansas State.
Number 0, Dante Thomas.
As I said, the Red Wolves really like to dribble drive a lot. They'll set some ball screens and try and create some opportunities for Carter to get into his jump shot quickly, but he'll also take the ball and go to the bucket. And they'll try to get Carter open in transition because he's a very good transition three-point shooter.
Well, when Coach McCaslin told us that the key to their success this season, the senior guards, Dante Thomas was one of that guys that he was talking about. He's number 2 in the conference in assists per game and number 3 in assist to turnover ratios. He hits the free throws and makes it a 13-5 game.
A lot of ball movement, a lot of people moving. Now the penetration.
McDaniel, who had just checked the ball game with his first miss. Ahead to Sims, and Sims high off the glass. Devin Sims, who's third best scorer off the bench in the entire nation. 13.4 points per game. That's ranked number 3 in the nation among players with 0 starts this season.
Well, I'll tell you something. When you have somebody that can come off the bench and give you an offensive lift, oh, that is such a big, big plus.
Jean Pierre runs into an offensive foul. A little bit too much dribbling by Marvin Jean Pierre there.
I couldn't disagree. No, I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, no question.
If you want to disagree with me, that's okay.
Yeah.
No, I
but the ball stayed in one place way too long, and the defense was able to adjust very quickly.
13-7 lead for the Warhawks. Opening 7 minutes here. This is game number 2 of the first round.
Yeah, they're running Carter off of screens down low.
Sims again with that left hand, again high off the glass and got a nice bounce off the rim.
Yeah, you had to call that. Kern says, wait a minute, you weren't supposed to turn back that way. I'm running to catch up with you. You got to go towards the basket.
Connor Kern, the redshirt sophomore guard out of Pickerington, Ohio, called for the foul. Foul number 3 on the Red Wolves.
I'm a big fan of Capola. You know, he leads this league in minutes played. He runs the offense.
He averages 37.3 minutes per game. Carter, three-pointer, sinks it. Devin Carter.
That's what he's good at, Matt.
Yep.
He's involved in transition. They'll find him if he's got daylight at all. It's at the basket.
Averages 3.3s per game, which is number 1 in the conference. It's an 8-0 run for Arkansas State. Ended right there as Munnings gets his first basket.
Ball reversal, and then Capola got it down into Munnings, and the defense did not have time to react.
3-point lead for the Warhawks. Into the corner, three-pointer off the mark by Dante Thomas. Rebound is corralled underneath, but Bruce was, as Carter knocks down
From the opening tip and fight and fight and fight, and the Red Wolves better be ready for that. And if they are, then they're going to have some success.
Well, that was that was the thing that really concerned Coach McCaslin, is that this team has, despite the 2-16 record, and oftentimes you'll hear coaches talk about teams in this situation, say they fight and they grit and all this kind of stuff, and they don't quit. But that really has been the case with UL Monroe. In fact, Keith Richard said, they have not raised the white flag, even though they've been beaten down this year.
No, and he's talked to them a lot about that, and he's told them how proud he is of the fact that regardless of the outcome, they come after it the next day, and they come after the next game.
Yeah, they've had some real crushing losses, including the half-court heave at the buzzer to lose to their instant rivals, UL Lafayette.
And I did that game, and I looked at his face, and it was like somebody had just punched him in the face.
Devin Carter, baseline jumper, and the rebound. McDaniel as we bring Kristen Bedard back in.
Well, Coach Richard was telling me before this game that he's truly hoping the experience that all of his players have gained from those close losses will finally come into play as postseason play begins, and that they can be on the other side of one of these close games. Matt?
Well, be the first time all year they have lost every close game that they have played this season. Bruce on the drive gets knocked to the floor. And actually, that's Devin Sims knocked to the floor, so Devin Sims will be at the foul line.
The Red Wolves will take the ball and go to the basket in transition. And then, of course, as we've talked, if they can find Carter, they'll do it. The Warhawks have got to get back and stop the penetration of those drives.
Devin Sims at the line, 10th best free throw shooter in the conference at 73%. Already has 4 points today off the bench. And that was a concern here for Arkansas State. They have not been a good free throw shooting team all season. In fact, they're dead last out of the 12 teams in the conference at 64%. And Coach McCaslin did not want to get into a free throw shooting contest here today in their conference tournament. Sims gets one of the two. Pola drives the baseline. Nothing there. Gets McDaniel open in the corner, and Sam McDaniel with the three-point bucket. He averages a .8 a game. He's out of Australia by way of Southeast Iowa Junior College. And back the other way, foul is going to be called on ULM.
One of the things, though, the Warhawks have got to get under control is that defense in transition, because they aren't matching up quickly enough and ready for those penetration drives or passes where the ball is going right to the ground.
So Sims back at the foul line again. Second miss out of 3 attempts for Devin Sims. He's a junior guard out of St. Louis by way of Connors State College.
And he's a 73% free throw shooter, but as we saw in the last game, that doesn't always mean you're going to get it in.
Yeah, exactly. 2 misses there for Sims. You're referring to Ken Williams, who's the number 4 free throw shooter in the conference, entering the contest, hitting 80% of his foul shots, and he shot less than 50% at the foul line in South Alabama's loss to Coastal Carolina. McDaniel works his way into the paint and draws the foul on Arkansas State. And so McDaniel will go to the foul line for 2 shots.
McDaniel did a great job of just taking his time, backing it in. The shot fake set it up well, and then he made sure he got into the defensive man's body so he can go to the line for the 2 free throws. Really good. And what's interesting now, the Red Wolves aren't doubling yet. And if this keeps up, I think they're going to have to double on the post and make the Warhawks kick the ball back out.
McDaniel is a 72% free throw shooter. UL Monroe, another 6-point lead. Warhawks 6th in the conference at 66.6%. They went 0-2 against Arkansas State during the regular season. They got blown out the first time they played the Red Wolf. Got beat by 31 the second time they played. It was a 10-point game in Monroe. Dante Thomas on the drive, and he banks it in.
Well, they gave him too much room. Washington was on him, and he just kept backing off. Well, you back up underneath the basket, he can lay the ball in the bucket. At some point, you got to meet him and turn him and keep him out of the paint.
UL Monroe has led from the get-go here. They've led for the first 11-plus minutes. 5-point lead, possession of the ball. Shot clock now under 10 on this possession. Washington at the elbow rises up over Lindsey, and Lindsey grabs the rebound. Run out opportunity for the Red Wolves. On the wing, they go to Thomas, and Thomas with the layup.
Excellent transition, and he held the ball long enough for Thomas to get into position to lay the bucket. Very good offense.
7 for Thomas. He averages 8 a game. Jean-Pierre got tied up, had it stolen away, and lost out of bounds off the hands of C.J. Foster, who got the steal but then lost it out of bounds.
Red Wolves are getting around Alabacus in the post, and he's not as mobile and hasn't figured out yet how to adjust on that so that a quick ball reversal that could go high-low to him. He's probably about a year away from that kind of move.
Coppola, number 3 in the Sunbelt, averaging 4.4 assists per game. Gives it up to Jean-Pierre. The ball hit the top of the backboard, or we had a foul. We had a foul call on ULM. Alabacus called for the foul. Arkansas State has trailed the entire game. They keep inching closer and closer. Dante Thomas.
Arkansas State back into this game has been their transition, and they're doing a really good job of getting some easy baskets and to the free throw line out of their transition.
That's why they're 6 of 8 on their twos so far in this game. Dante Thomas passes out to Lindsey for a three-pointer. Just the second three-pointer for Arkansas State as they have tied the score at 20.
41% of his shots come from there. The defense collapsed and never tried to recover back out to it.
Foster, a 4th-year junior guard out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, by way of Roane State, averages 5 a game. Coppola launches the three-pointer. Jean-Pierre lost it out of bounds off his hands. Apparently, nope, it was touched last by Arkansas State. Carter must have gotten his in there.
Yeah, and I think that's a little quick for Coppola. He just needs to be careful that he doesn't try to shoot them to a victory as opposed to running their offense, driving it to the basket, and those kinds of plays.
Washington inside the miss, and Arkansas State on a 7-0 run comes down the floor. A chance to take their first lead, and they got it. No, they don't. Simmons blew the layup. Wow, I thought that was a gimme. It should have been. They should have had the lead, but they don't.
Yeah, he didn't have any balance. He just went with it.
Washington, speaking of off balance, and McDaniel tried to fire it off the leg of Lindsey. Threw it out of bounds as we check back in with Kristen.
Well, guys, I had a chance to listen in on that Arkansas State huddle, and Coach was praising them for their ability to talk to one another. He said, stay alert, execute better, get out there and fight. And also, guys, be on the lookout for more ball screens from them.
All right, thank you, Kristen. And Coach McCaslin done a really good job. I already told you, 20-win season. It's been a while since they have done that. They've been down a while. Part of the success was the senior guards buying in. The other part was these guys had been on the other side of this thing. The losing had really gotten to them, and so they were eager to stop losing and start winning some games. Jean-Pierre. That's a three-pointer for Jean-Pierre.
In and out. He curled off the screen opposite the ball. Alabacus just held on to the ball. The defense collapsed a little bit. Really good offense.
7 points for Jean-Pierre, who's a 35% three-point shooter. Thomas dishing back. 9 on the shot clock for the Red Wolves. Nice drop step move by Bruce to get opening and put it in.
Yeah, Bruce had a mismatch there, and he took advantage of it, and he took his time. Really good offensive play.
5.5 minutes to play in the first half. UL Monroe has led most of this first half. They have never trailed. We've had one tie. Jean-Pierre gets to the rim.
Alabacus set a great screen. You're right. And Jean-Pierre just exploded to the bucket.
He's got 9. He averages 9 a game. So he's got his per-game average here in 15 minutes of play. Open three, Thomas. Game tied again at 25, our second time.
Thomas is only a 26% three-point shooter, and they're daring him to shoot the ball. His technique wasn't bad there. They may need to put a little bit more pressure on him.
Might stop daring him. He's got 10 of their 25. Alabacus working against Bruce, banging bodies, lowers the shoulder, and foul's going to be called on Bruce.
I like him. You know, he's young. He's got a lot to learn, but I like him. I think he's grown as the season's gone on.
Your first Bank and Trust Sunbelt bracket, Coastal Carolina already a winner today. They play UT Arlington on Friday. Winner of this ball game beats Texas State on Friday. And 2 more games to come up in our evening bracket. The first starting at 5 o'clock Central with UL Lafayette taking on Little Rock. Raging Cajuns, hottest team entering the tournament with a 6-game streak.
You talk about two teams athletic, going after each other. Oh, that's going to be a heck of a contest. Now, again, Monroe has been able to get it down inside and create some problems. A little bit of a... Well, they're fighting Carter.
Thomas gets to the rim. He has a foul against him, and that's going to be on Alabacus. Alabacus fouled Dante Thomas, and that'll put Dante Thomas at the line. He's already in double figures here today. 2 fouls now on Alabacus.
He was inside the restricted area. Other than that, that have been a charge. Well, maybe not. Officials still might have called it the other way.
You see the restricted area arc outlined by the white semicircle there, the blue paint.
And that is in there to protect some of the, collisions that happened during my era. I'm not sure I buy it, but because I'm not sure how much it accomplished. That's what I would say.
Well, it keeps guys from sliding in underneath once a guy's already up in the air and trying to draw that charge underneath the basket, which, they were getting those calls. As you mentioned in your day, that was a charge.
It's correct. Munning's got to get involved here a little bit more.
Washington underneath on the baseline, down to 3 on the shot clock. Got to get a shot up with 1. They don't. Shot clock violation. 3 minutes in the first half. Arkansas State getting all they can handle from the 12 seed ULM row as we are tied at 27.
Wide open, and they got caught in transition for a little bit.
Winner of this ball game advances to take on the 4 seed Texas State. That'll be on Friday afternoon here at Lakefront Arena. Whistle and a foul on ULM. Munnings is going to be called for the foul, and that'll be number 2 on him. Six fouls on Arkansas State and 7 on ULM. So this puts Sims at the line for the 1-and-1. He has 5. He is 1 of 4 at the line. Now, very similar to the Ken Williams situation in our first game here today, Coach. A very good free throw shooter, inexplicably struggling at the foul line, and a backcourt turnover on ULM. That's number 4 on them.
That's an unforced error, too. Those things just drive Coach nuts.
Arkansas State still looking for their first lead of the afternoon. We've been tied 3 times. Lindsey for the lead. Rebound popped up into the air. McDaniel is able to save it. Nick Coppola brings it across for the Warhawks. McDaniel a step back. Air ball. Bruce the rebound.
No, he didn't need that shot. Move the ball.
Carter for the lead. Got fouled. He'll go to the line for a chance to give him the lead. Coppola called for the foul.
Coppola took his left hand away from him, and he is left-handed, but he didn't get any help on the ball screen so that as Carter came off of it, there was somebody there to put pressure.
Devin Carter, 5th-year senior guard out of Champaign, Illinois, transferred in from Kent State. 1,052 career points, 27th player in program history to go for 1,000, but just the 3rd to do it in 2 seasons.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something. He is really good at coming off screens and getting into that shot very, very quickly.
So he hits 2 of the 3 free throws, and Arkansas State has their first lead of the afternoon. McDaniel passes underneath to Washington, rolled out.
Great back cut, just didn't complete the play.
Lindsey back inside to Bruce, who scoops it in. Tom Bruce with his 3rd basket. He has 6, and the Red Wolves have a 4-point lead with 2 to play in the half.
And that's all out of that transition. They go quickly, and they never stop, never reset. They just go.
Warhawks cough it up again.
Carter read that well. Rotated over, figured out where Coppola was going to pass it, came up with the steal.
Lindsey in a double team. Passes out to Sims. Sims takes it right to the hoop, and Bruce slams it home. Timeout, Keith Richard, as Arkansas State.
You allow the rest, why you got to keep it out of paint.
And Coach, I think some of this also stems back to the offensive end for ULM, and they've taken some quick shots rather than milking that clock all the way down and getting a good shot.
That's a very good point. Yeah, they got to run ULM offense. And move it and move it and move it.
McDaniel, no place to go with it, throws it away. Coppola can't save it. It comes to Sims. Sims will take it and lay it in.
The Capola should have grabbed it and called timeout while he was in midair.
He would have been better just to let it go out of bounds. Instead, it was a live ball turnover, and now a 10-0 run for Arkansas State. Washington. Another point-blank miss for the Warhawks.
Yeah, they've missed 2 or 3 that way that would have kept it close right now.
Timeout called by Arkansas State with 31.6 seconds left in the half. And the Red Wolves.
You don't try to shoot the ball quickly and get caught up in what the Red Wolves do.
Red Wolves are at 65% shooting here as we wind down to 22 seconds to play in the half. There's a difference of 7 seconds in the game clock and the shot clock.
And most of it has been their ability to create offense off the penetration.
Sims gets his man in the air. Shot clock off. And basket by Bruce with 6 seconds to play in the half. Capola up the floor, going coast to coast, got fouled. He'll go to the line with 0.8 of a second.
Really good job by the Warhawks of getting, and in particular Capola, getting the ball back down, because I think the Red Wolves kind of just said, oh, it's halftime, and really didn't make an effort to get back down, and he exploited that. He pulled the Red Wolves in, because that's what the Red Wolves are going to do.
Second free throw miss for the Warhawks. It's the first miss for Capola at the foul line. He's 0 for 3 from the floor. And that is the end of the first half. So Arkansas for 13 and a half minutes. I totally agree. They've got to execute and play with much more efficiency in the second half as they did in the first, perhaps more like they did in the first 10 minutes of the game, and certainly not like they did in the second 10 minutes of that first half.
Exactly. They got to play with more purpose. They got to stay focused. They can't get excited because they finally hit a 3-point shot.
Yep. And as you pointed out, they got to get Munnings involved. He has not been involved yet.
Exactly. You got to get him involved.
1 on the shot clock, and they barely beat the shot clock violation. Jean Pierre got his own miss and missed in. And Washington hurt himself. Called timeout immediately.
Yeah, I think he got kneed in the the thigh. I was afraid it was the knee. And I always worry about knees, but the thigh can really be painful.
So Marcus Washington will come out of the ball game. Watch number 3 here. Headed down the floor. No, it might have been knee on knee. You're right. At the left knee, his left knee colliding with the left knee of perhaps C.J. Foster. But a full-speed collision with the legs, no doubt about it. And Washington's going to come out of the ball game. Prince Cooper, number 14, checks in for him. Cooper's first action of the day. Cooper gets it.
They do a lot of curling to get in the paint. Back in.
Alabacus got his own miss, goes back up with it with the left hand and banks it in.
I'll tell you, Matt, before it's said and done, you and I, not this year, in years to come, you and I are going to be raving about that young man. I think he's going to end up being a pretty good basketball player.
He's got 8 here today. That's 5 over his 3 points per game average. Ball kick. ULM runs out. Capola with the left hand.
First bucket for him.
The big difference between Capola this year and last year. Last year he had 4 guys around him. He did not have to score. When he scored, it was a great bonus, but he had 4 playmakers around him, guys that could score the ball. This year, bigger scoring load on his shoulders this year. He's just not built for that.
That's a good point. And he is not built for it.
Jean Pierre on the run out, lost his dribble, still was able to get it down in the corner. Cooper hits the 3. Prince Cooper comes in off the bench after not playing in the first half, trains a 3-pointer, and UL Monroe has cut it to 2 in a timeout called by Grant McCaslin and the Red Wolves.
They got some transition, And then Cooper, 40% three.
Starting with UL Lafayette and Little Rock at 5 o'clock local time here at Lakefront Arena. Meantime, a 7-0 run for the Warhawks to start this second half as they battled themselves back into the ballgame.
And they did it ULM way.
And Arkansas State turns it over.
Okay, they've turned the ball over some, 2 or 3 times now. ULM has capitalized. ULM got the ball to the basket and knocked down one perimeter shot.
Warhawks, chance to tie here or even take the lead if they hit a 3. Capola to Munnings. And Munnings, with just his second basket, ties the game at 37.
Capola got himself in a position where he didn't have a shot, so he just was, okay, who's open?
Yeah, he didn't have a shot. I didn't know that he had a pass.
Well, Munnings back cut or just cut to the basket and create a passing lane for him.
Carter shoots Arkansas State back into the lead with their first points of the second half.
You know, for a youngster averaging almost 17 a game, he's been pretty quiet this afternoon.
He's only taken 3 shots. He's 2 of 3. He's got 7 points.
So they got that lead in transition where he wasn't involved, and they haven't had to run a half-court offense, and he just never was the guy in transition they found.
Cooper the miss and the rebound controlled by Bruce. Bruce has 6 boards to go along with his 10 points. Carter had a shot blocked by Jean Pierre, and Alabacus went out there to get it.
Great defensive play by Jean Pierre to time that thing and get it that quickly.
Munnings working against Sims. Passes out to Jean Pierre for the lead. Nope, off the iron. And Arkansas State's ball.
I thought he should have gone with the ball or taken the shot.
Getting the upset today.
I think that's always tough.
Yeah, Wright averaging over 15 points per game this season. Not only a great defensive player, the top ball stealer in the conference, but also an offensive threat on a team full of offensive threats. Arkansas State finds themselves in a struggle here. Sloppy with the basketball to start the second half. Commits the turnover and then commits the foul. Lindsey called for the foul. And that's number 1 on him and the first foul on the Red Wolves here in the second half. Third turnover for Arkansas State in the first 4.5 minutes of the second half after they had committed only 5 in the entire first half.
Yeah, see, and the thing is, ULM has scored off of those, so they've really capitalized on it.
Cooper, rim, Bruce the rebound. 7 balls for Bruce. He's working on a potential double-double today with his 10 and 7. Sims, the drive, the roll-off, and McDaniel had it knocked away from him and knocked out of bounds by Arkansas State. So the Red Wolves, they look like they'd have gained all the momentum. Their 12-1 run to close the half, Coach. What's happened to them here in the second half? It's like they're stuck in mud.
You know, a lot of times you go in at halftime and okay, we got this. And no, you don't got this. You know, there's 20 more minutes to play, and you lose a little bit. Can't do that.
Traveling on McDaniel.
Yeah, and as a result of that, you come out a little bit flat, and then it just seems to seep through everybody. One of the things they got to do, though, is they got to get Mr. Carter involved. Hello, did he shoot the ball?
Yeah.
I mean, I said before the game he could shoot the ball, and I haven't seen him shoot the ball enough to know.
Sims misses the floater, and Alabacus with the rebound. Arkansas State 1 for 5 to start the second half, and a foul called on Bruce. Unnecessarily way out there beyond where he needs to be guarding a player. And Bruce picks up his second personal foul. Second team foul on the Red Wolves.
And you're going to take the ball away from Capola. Come on. You got to be smarter than that.
The 6'7" forward's not going to swipe it from the point guard.
No. That young man has just done this for 4 years.
McDaniel working inside. Leans in.
That's another one of those shots he's got.
Yep. Dante Thomas. Now that's what he did so effectively in the first half. Attacking the rim aggressively. Thomas the leading scorer. He's got 14.
But see, that play doesn't develop if they score a basket there. And the Warhawks should have. Good offense. Good offense by the Red Wolves, and now Munnings finally gets something going.
Yeah, he's 3 for 3, 11 points.
Yeah, he just hasn't had enough touches. We've talked about that.
Gonna have to work it to him like they did that time. 13.5 minutes played regulation. Arkansas State just a 2-point lead on the 12 seed, UL Monroe. Lindsay, shot rejected by Prince Cooper. Hammered it out of bounds like a Karch Karai spike.
And he was behind him, and as the ball came up, he was big enough and long enough to reach out and spike the thing right there.
Whistle on the inbounds. Munnings called for the foul on the inbounds attempt. That's going to be number 3 on him. So he has as many fouls as he has shot attempts in this game.
And unless he's got about 20 fouls, that's not good.
Carter, foul on the shot. Coppola. Coppola picks up his second personal foul. That's going to put Devin Carter at the foul line.
For most of this game, Coppola has been on Carter. And that's a mismatch. And I give Coppola credit. But Carter has not exploited it at all. He's just kind of stood out there and watched.
Yeah, and he's now 2 for 4 at the foul line. Coach McCaslin told us at their practice yesterday that Devin Carter's a real itchy guy, and the team feeds off of that. He hasn't played with a lot of energy today, and consequently, neither have the Red Wolves.
Good point. Good point. And I'm convinced that they went in halftime assuming the game was over. You can't assume that.
Coppola 3. Munnings tip in.
Good full slip done inside. Nobody blocked him out. He just got a nice tip there.
He scored the last 6 points for the Warhawks. They're down 1. Thomas lobs it in there, and Alabakis clobbers Bruce.
You want your scorers to find different ways to score, and that's a perfect example. Shot to knock down the 15, 17-footer. He got the ball in close and scored. Now he's got tipped.
Alabakis was called for his 3rd foul. Puts Thomas Bruce at the line. Bruce with 11 now. He's 5 of 5 from the floor and 1 for 1 at the foul line. Also has 8 rebounds today.
The ball screens have bothered the Warhawks. See, they were in the paint there, and the ball screen transpired, and they didn't have an answer.
Extra opportunity here for the Red Wolves. Carter, bounce pass to Bruce. Blocked by Alabakis, and Bruce missed the reverse attempt there. Good defense by Alabakis to stand straight up and not jump into it.
Good point.
McDaniel fires a 3. And Alabakis just picked up his 4th personal foul.
But I was going to say, we've been on the Warhawks some about, hey, you got to make that basket. Well, I'll tell you what, you got to make that basket. I mean, they use a bucket for protection.
Alabakis now comes out after committing his 4th personal foul. He's been a big part of their story today. We'll see how long they keep him over there, how long and how they can play with him on the bench.
You know, and I wouldn't have been critical of Coach Richard if he'd have just left him on the floor, because he's young, you know, and so you're going to go with minutes. And right now he's playing. So he mismatched. They took him inside.
Yep. Carter. 4-point lead for Arkansas State again.
That's the first time today they've exploited that mismatch.
Carter now 10 points. He's one of 3 Red Wolves in double figures. Munnings backing in against Sims. Nice move to get around him. Munnings is 5 of 5 from the floor and has 11 points. Turn back the other way. 3-pointer. They didn't get back on defense. And that is the 4th 3-pointer Red Wolves.
84% of his shots come from the 3-point line. Fuller's picking that dribble up before he should.
Jean-Pierre gets his own miss and puts it in. And an offensive foul. Glenn Tuitt steps in and waves it off.
Arkansas State, as we talked about, I think came out a little soft and thought it was really over. And as Yogi said, it's never over till it's over.
That's right. Except he said, it ain't over till it's over. You use proper English.
Yeah, he screwed it up.
Yeah. Rashad Lindsay the miss. And Washington will bring across for ULM. Munnings comes out to get it. Working against Sims.
You need to clear that out inside more and give Munnings a little more room.
Baseline. That's the first shot he's missed today. Battle for the rebound underneath. They'll call jump ball, and the possession arrow favors the Red Wolves.
Munnings has to be careful he doesn't get caught up in trying to all of a sudden become a perimeter scorer as opposed to going to where his strength is.
That was the fine freshman Jemiah Simmons for the Red Wolves, number 10, that we saw there. He has had a very quiet day, scoreless in 11 minutes with no rebounds. A young man who's averaging 6.5 points, 5 rebounds per game, and have been a big part of their success this year.
Yeah, and I can't respond to that, but he's a freshman. And this is his first experience in this kind of atmosphere. See, freshmen, when they first start playing, have that problem. Then all of a sudden, they're no longer freshmen until you get to the tournament. And then all of a sudden, that's a different world. And then what happens is if you go to the next level and play in the NCAA tournament, that's even a third. I don't know why the delay. Do you know why the delay?
They were resetting the shot clock. That's what it was.
That's what gave me a chance to keep talking.
That's always a good thing, Coach. Carter on the drive. Left-handed floater, and Simmons got the rebound. Stays with it, goes up strong and puts it in. Jemiah Simmons, the freshman forward out of St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, played his high school ball at Pace, Florida High School.
See, a play like that can get a young man going, too. Now, Taylor needs to stay out of this. He's bringing his men down in there.
Jean-Pierre, extra pass. He passed up a shot right there.
Yes, he did.
Munnings chance to run for the Warhawks. Arkansas State gets back on defense. And a timeout called by Keith Richard and the Warhawks. Well, Monroe has turned up the defense 50, wins the game. And it might take him 5 hours to do it.
Well, and I would love that. Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that. Alabacus back on the floor. I think a very wise move. If he fouls out, fouls out. He's a freshman. But he's got to play.
3 on the shot clock. Washington finally elevates and misses off the iron. Good defense by Arkansas State right there as UL Monroe was puttering around on offense. Never really got a great look.
You know, good point. And I can't fault Washington for shooting there because shot clock was about to expire. And he can go Carter can go up on Coppola. I don't understand that.
Yeah, he has played with some passivity today that typically you don't see from Devin Carter.
No.
Lindsay in the lane with 5 seconds to play. Tough luck on that shot. Simmons hustles to get the ball. Sims, big steps in the lane, and they turn it over. 4th turnover for Arkansas State in the half. Coppola, transition 3, and buries it. First 3-pointer for the senior Nick Coppola after missing 4-point game again.
And that's his kind of shot. There wasn't anybody around him, and then he can deliver on that 3-point shot.
Sims with the left hand, and Munnings the rebound. He's got 5 boards, 11 points. Quiet first half. He's been strong in the second half.
I think Sims is trying to do too much.
Alabacus running the floor. How about the big 7-foot Australian with the basket to cut it to 2?
And I tell you what, Cooper made a great feed because it was a small window to get that ball to him. Excellent pass. See, they don't take Cooper back down. Right there, he's open. He wasn't looking.
He missed the cut, and off a curl, Carter, and a screen, illegal screen on Simmons.
Enough so that now they've got potentially 2 inside men.
A year ago, the Warhawks had Dang, and they had Roberson. They got to the tournament championship game, losing to eventual champion Little Rock. They haven't had that kind of firepower this year. Munnings has been the closest thing to it. Washington takes the shot and misses. Crashing in, Arkansas State loses the ball out of bounds.
Could have been Alabacus' 5th foul, but they let him play, and so that's fine. But it was a good call.
And I mentioned Munnings has been their closest thing to it. He's 5 of 6 shooting, 11 points. Tried to pass the ball to Alabacus there.
Yeah, he telegraphed it as well.
And a block by Munnings.
How about tracking it down? That's Bill Russell kind of play.
Munnings calls for it. Gets it back to Washington. Foul called on Arkansas State. Dante Thomas just picked up his first. Travis Munnings in the second half has been a big part of their comeback.
And he has found different ways to score. The mid-range jumper around the basket, posting down inside. Thought he really used good judgment there. And then that block. And for our fans who didn't know who Bill Russell was, he was the great all-time Boston Celtics defensive player. And he used to block shots and then go get them.
Kristen, what did Coach Richard say during that timeout?
Well, Coach Richard added, how many times have we been here, guys? You know what you need to do to finish. Let's do this. But also very interesting, Munnings was super vocal in that last huddle, encouraging his teammates to stay aggressive and stay on it.
Yeah, you're right, and no doubt about it. They have been down this road plenty of times before. As we mentioned, 8 of their 16 conference losses by 5 points or less or in overtime. And they were hoping today, Coach Richard hoping today they could keep it close to get it down late and maybe finally win a close game. It hasn't happened for them all year. Thomas misses up close, and then a foul on Cooper underneath. And Arkansas State, you know, they were shooting 60% from the floor in the first half. They're shooting 25% from the floor here in the second half, and a lot of it is they're just missing point-blank range.
Oh, yeah, they're doing what ULM did in the first half. And then, you know, although it's different players, they still don't go to the man that is their best scorer and put him in situations where he's got a really good opportunity to put it in or take Coppola down inside and punish Coppola.
Well, Thomas is their leading scorer today. He now has 16. He's doubled up his per-game average. And Arkansas State leads by 3. Carter, their leading scorer, their top 3-point shooter, only 1 for 4 on his threes today and has 10 points.
Yeah, he picks that ball up way too soon.
Needs to keep that dribble alive. 5 on the shot clock. Cooper, no place to go with it. Going to have to launch. Coppola at the buzzer hit it, and we're tied at 51.
He had the presence of mind, though, to know how much was left on that shot clock and did a great job of getting it and launching it before the clock expired.
Stolen by Jean-Pierre, and he's going to be okay. It's 52-51. Our scoreboard had 51-51, but Arkansas State actually with 52 as we corrected, and a 1-point lead for the Red Wolves. Big shot by Coppola right there to cut it to 1. Carter with 3 on the shot clock. Rebound knocked away by Jean-Pierre, and a fresh 30 now for Arkansas State.
So Carter gets into that shot so quickly, and he can go over Coppola. Coppola, unless he gets on a step ladder, is never going to be able to put pressure on a shot. And Carter could just back him down in there and go over.
Dante Thomas has been the story for this team offensively today. With 16 points, 5 of 10 shooting. Gets it back. Turn three-pointer. Nope. Munning's the rebound. And now UL Monroe comes down the floor, chance to take the lead. They have not led since the 4-minute mark of the first half.
They're going to run something here because Coppola just pulled it back out. You got to get the ball to Money.
Jean-Pierre step back and for the lead. The Warhawks on the basket by Jean-Pierre makes it 53-52. Well, this is exactly the way Coach Richard would have scripted it if he could have scripted the game. And the basket underneath by Bruce puts the Red Wolf back on top. He's got 13 and 9 today.
Good ball screen, penetrated into the middle, and was able to find a man because the defense got caught betwixt in between.
And a timeout called by the Warhawks. 3:31 to play in the half, and we've got a tight ball game going down to the wire. The 2017 Sunbelt basketball.
Him today, I'm not sure how many points Arkansas State would have.
Typically the guy that sets up the others for the score. Today they have needed his scoring, and it's the reason why they are clinging to a 1-point lead, trying to avoid an upset by the number 12 seed, UL Monroe.
Cooper just took the ball from the wing and drove it to the basket. Well, they should have given it to him quickly. I'm talking about.
Less than 3.5 to play. Coppola on the drive. Shoots him back into the lead and one.
His strength really serves him well because he protected the ball with his body going down the lane, gets bumped, and is able to complete that play.
Nick Coppola with 11 points today, 4 assists, and a big and one opportunity right here.
And as you said, he doesn't have the same weapons to go to, so there's been more pressure on him to do it all himself, and he isn't that kind of player.
Playing like a young man who wants to extend his college basketball career, the senior out of Virginia. Sims works underneath against Munnings and uses his body to muscle the ball back up there, and ties at 56.
I thought that was a great change of direction, dribble, and everybody on the Warhawks team just stayed back. They didn't try to double it.
Cooper, let's see where they go with the ball right here. If they go to Munnings or Coppola. Cooper going to take it himself and hits the left-hander in the lane, and the Warhawks back up by 2 again.
Everybody's driving to the bucket right now.
Inside banging bodies, and there they go again. Bruce with the basket. 15 for Bruce today. We're tied at 58 with just 2 minutes and 9 seconds to play.
Both teams are doing a great job offensively, taking it to the bucket.
For the lead again, Jean-Pierre, the miss. Alabacus, a big rebound. But the turnover, nearly. Lindsay unable to save it, or they would have had perhaps a run-out situation.
Not sure that was a good shot in that corner, but it was a heck of an effort by both teams to come up with the ball.
Fresh 30 for the Warhawks. Inbounds comes to Capola. UL Monroe has won just 2 conference games the entire year, the number 12 seed. Without the new format, they wouldn't even be here. Trying to get the upset. Alabacus fumbles away a gimme 2-point basket.
There was a double on Capola, and Alabacus was wide open. You're right. He just took the eye off the ball before he should have.
Warhawks have seen too much of that down the stretch in these close losses this year. Sims misses. Alabacus, a big rebound. 7 boards for Alabacus and 10 points for the freshman, who's really grown up today.
Oh, I think he's just done a marvelous job. That was a freshman error. Now they'll try to get it to Munnings.
They do. He's working against Sims. But Alabacus, Munnings with the assist. Alabacus, the big basket. Warhawks up 2 with a minute to play. And a timeout called by Grant McCaslin.
Players collapsed on Munnings. You know, he's a good interior passer. And he just turned, looked over his shoulder, and dropped the ball to the big. You know, I'm not sure Coach Richard has done a better job of coaching his whole life to keep it going the way he has. My hat's off to him. That is so hard.
Devin Carter hands on the ball. Been a quiet day for him.
There's your ball screen.
Dante Thomas picks up the dribble. 10 on the shot clock. Sims looking for an opening in the defense. Can't find it. Thomas attacks the basket. Goes right at Alabacus. Puts it in with time. Big shot by Dante Thomas. He's got 18 today. And a timeout called by the Warhawks. All right, Coach, let's talk some strategy here. We got a 60-pounds man for the Warhawks right by their bench. And Capola goes to the backcourt to get it. They'll put Dante Thomas on Capola. And Munnings comes out to get it. 15 on the shot clock. To Munnings with 10 on the shot clock. Munnings inside. Cooper had it knocked away. Ball on the deck and recovered by Arkansas State. They used their final timeout to bail themselves out. And now they've got the ball, a chance to win it with 13.6.
I think being trapped, he almost lost the ball. It was good defense by the Red Wolves in order to generate a situation where it's just scramble, scramble, scramble. I thought, again, Capola picked his dribble up.
Possession, and Thomas will bring it up the floor in no hurry.
No, they got plenty of time.
Clock at 7. Thomas goes right at Washington. Kicks. Lindsay a 3 to win it. Rim out. And the tip attempt. Horn sounds. We're going to overtime.
Tip in was a rush one. The first one, you really didn't have good balance.
And most recently, back on February 13th, when they lost a heartbreaker to Troy on the road, or actually at home, 73-72. Matt Stewart, Coach Bob Donewald with you as we start overtime in this first-round matchup.
They don't use that ball screen well. They don't really get the defensive man on Capola down underneath the screen.
To Alabacus. Wow. Young man's had a big day. Alabacus now with 14 points. He is their leading scorer today.
Defense lunged trying to come around. The help side defense didn't get the ball. Hey, nothing but daylight between he and the basket.
New career high for Alabacus with 14. 3 points better than his previous 11 against Texas State. Bruce runs into Alabacus. Shot blocked from behind by Washington. Let's check in with Kristen.
Well, guys, during that last huddle, Coach Richard wasted no time drawing up his play. He said he wanted to go in at the post, which is what we saw from Sam. And Travis, of course, is emerging as a team leader, encouraging his players, saying this is exactly where we wanted this other team as we prepare to play for overtime.
Bruce at the line for the Red Wolves. Arkansas State, they have missed 9 free throws today. Remember what we told you earlier. Coach McCaslin did not want to get into a free throw shooting contest. They're the poorest shooting free throw team in the conference, and they have been even worse today. Now 50% at the foul line. Stolen by Gene Pierre, throws it ahead, and he will jam it.
He read that so well. He was at the top of the key and just exploded. Great defensive play.
Inside the miss, and Gene Pierre, who just had the jam, comes up with a big rebound and had it stolen away. Sims lays it in with the left hand. Sims now with 11 becomes the 4th Red Wolf to reach double figures.
Great offense or defensive effort by the Red Wolves there to come up with that ball.
Washington on the dribble drive, banks it in. Marcus Washington with just his 3rd shot of the day. He's 3 of 11 from the floor, but a big one right there. He's got 7 points, 5 rebounds. 4-point lead. UL Monroe under 3 minutes to play in overtime. And an offensive foul on Dante Thomas.
We don't see him rotate to steal the ball, Gene Pierre, but he reducing flushing. It was a great defensive play.
Gene Pierre with 12 today. One of 4 Warhawks in double figures, led by, of all people, Alabacus with a career-high 14. 14.7 rebound effort by Sam Alabacus.
Getting below that screen. See, the defense is always on top of him.
Alabacus calling for it. Gene Pierre didn't get it to him, but Washington fouled on his shot by Bruce. Bruce got him with the body. Argues with Glenn Tewitt, follows Glenn Tewitt to the table as he's making the call and trying to plead his case.
What's happening is Alabacus is rolling to the basket, and the defense is adjusting to him, and then there'll be a wingman. That time it was Washington over on the other side, and he flashes in like a second cutter, and they're getting the ball to him, and then he's creating offense.
Number 3,
Marcus Washington at the line. Warhawks only 1 free throw in the second half. 7 of 9 at the line today. Keith Richard had his team in the tournament championship game a year ago. Led by Player of the Year, Majuk Dang, Defensive Player of the Year. Fell short against Little Rock. This year, exact opposite. The 12 seed, but trying to pull off a big upset here in the first round. They are up 6. They've scored on 4 of their 5 possessions here in overtime. Dante Thomas stopped by Alabacus. The foul is going to be, this is going to be a big call right here, and it is going to be on Washington and not Alabacus. But Alabacus, great defense to come and plug the baseline.
That's a good point. In fact, I thought they were going to call traveling on Thomas, and we may not be able to get a replay. But he pulled up because there was a wall there.
Another free throw miss. 11 misses by Arkansas State. In fact, Arkansas State has as many misses today as ULM has attempts. And another miss. Arkansas State goes home to Jonesboro today with an upset loss. They're going to kick themselves at so many missed opportunities at the free throw line.
Oh, you got to get it to him.
Munnings cutting to Washington, and Washington with the basket. 8-point lead for the Warhawks in overtime.
Washington right at the top of the key, and he just cut down the lane.
Sims stopped by Munnings and uses a timeout. Wow.
Coppola kept the ball away from Carter on that play, and that's what forced the timeout.
Coach, what great defense on this possession. Now here's the offensive possession by the Warhawks.
Yeah,
we'll watch that for a minute. Not unusual for him, the all-time minutes leader and career starts leader in program history. And the Red Wolves bail themselves out here. Carter takes a three, and Coppola chases down this. Devin Carter, their leading scorer, top three-point shooter in the conference, 1 of 6 behind the arc. They've got to hurry. It's going to be a backcourt violation. I thought it might have been.
Coppola batted the ball across the line, and it was a loose ball.
McCaslin thought it was a backcourt violation. He's pleading his case with Ray Acosta right now to no avail.
Yeah, and I don't think so. He batted that ball across. He didn't try to dribble it across. He batted it across. How about that heads-up play? He knew he didn't have time.
Down to 1:25 to play. Washington attacks the basket. Didn't have to hurry his shot right there. Shot it with 14 seconds. He could have burned some more time.
Yes,
I think.
He should have.
Thomas ahead for Arkansas State and lays it in. Leads to an early run out there, and it's a 6-point lead. Quick shot by Washington led to the run-out basket by Arkansas State. Leaves them a chance to get back in this game. Double team and trouble for Washington. Tie up, jump ball, Arkansas State's ball.
They're not adjusting to the traps well. They're not filling the high post. They're getting the ball across the timeline, and you've got 3 kids. You can't stop there. You got to keep bringing it forward. Now, he splits the trap pretty well there, but you got to have somebody back over here he can throw the ball to.
You're right. He split the trap, but then he fumbled it.
Exactly.
He just had to fall on top of it.
And you're right. He shouldn't have shot the ball down here. He did not have an easy lay-in. He should have brought it back out. And I'm referring to Washington.
They would have been better to just burn the 14 seconds and take a shot clock violation.
That's right.
Sims puts it in, and now you see Arkansas State. 2 quick buckets, and they've cut it to 4. They still got a chance here. Jean-Pierre nearly coughs it up. Somehow stumbles and keeps his balance into the front court. Alabacus was able to keep it alive. Man, bodies are flying all over the place. Arkansas State's trying to commit a foul, and Coppola calls a timeout before they do.
Part of the problem is they're getting the ball in too close to that baseline and allowing Arkansas State to trap. See, it's clear down there. You got to get the ball from the free throw line to the top of the key. The pass is going down.
So they did call a foul instead of the timeout. I thought they'd given the timeout to Coppola before the foul was called. Instead, they called a foul on Lindsey, and that'll put Coppola at the line.
For the Warhawks.
So that's a break for Arkansas State that they called the foul instead of gave the Warhawks the timeout.
Nick Coppola.
So Coppola at the line. ULM 9 of 11 at the foul line today. If they take care of business here at the foul line, they've got a great chance to get out of here with an upset and stay in New Orleans for a couple of more days.
Yeah, he needs to get at least one, if not both of these.
It's been a great season for Arkansas State, but they've lost their last 7 after improving to 9-2 in the conference. And the miss by Coppola, and a lane violation on ULM anyway.
That wasn't close. It was off to the right. I mean,
So Grant McCaslin's team trying to scramble back here after leading by as much as 10 in this game. Losing the lead, going to overtime. They still have a chance here. Got to convert on this possession. Dante Thomas Kick back to Lindsey. Lindsey attacks. Dante Thomas burning a lot of time here. Thomas finally takes it to the hole and misses the shot. Coppola has it and gets fouled in the backcourt. And ULM now 15.7 seconds away from pulling the upset on the 5 seed.
What Coppola needs to do while he's dribbling like that is look up the floor, because you had two ULM Warhawks standing down here with nobody on defensively, no Red Wolves on that side of the timeline.
So Coppola, who just missed a free throw that kept Arkansas State's hopes alive, will try to ice this one here. He gets 2 foul shots. He hits the first, and now it is a 5-point lead.
So now it's a 3-possession game, especially if he knocks this one down.
Well, a 2-possession.
I meant 2 possession. Yeah. Nope.
He doesn't, and leaves the door open. If Arkansas State, they got to hurry. Sims takes it right at the basket and puts it in. No timeouts remain. They'll have to foul right away. Coppola gets mugged in the corner, which is what they had to do with 6.1 seconds. So Coppola, these are huge free throws right here.
Okay, now, if he misses, I would foul, because you're not going to give him a chance to complete a 3-point run, especially the kind of season they've had. Foul, put the worst team in the league at the free throw.
Coppola with the free throw makes it a 4-point game, and time now to salute our Under Armour player of the game. And it is Nick Coppola, who just hit a big free throw right there. Have not won the game yet for them, but a big dagger right there. 5-point lead, 6.1 to play. Dante Thomas races up the floor, fumbles it, gets it, puts it in with 0.8 of a second.
Look up the floor.
Jean-Pierre, long pass, and that will do it. UL Monroe only 2.